There's a really good album by Keane. Their first album, it's called Hopes and Fears.
Right.
And I was listening to that the other day and I remembered how much I loved it. And that's a really tenuous link. But this podcast is about fears.
Fears.
And the fear of... the fact is, they've got a new album out now, which is amazing. But that album was years ago. And one of my big fears is time passing by and just not realising that we're getting old or all of that kind of thing. You know, has that time really gone by? You know, how much have I got left and all that kind of thing. That's a bit of a fear.
That's a major fear on that. And as you say that now, you just think, oh, it's a little bit of a whoosh. The last time I remember listening to albums like that, 15, 20 years ago.
There you go, you see, that's what I mean. How can that be?
Oh, but then the worst is what the Dalai Lama stated: if you live in the past, you're depressed. If you live in the future, you're anxious. So you need to live in the present, which is hard because you dwell on the past and you're worried about the future. So how do you ground yourself? How do you do that?
Well, the funny thing is, Dalai is right, but John Lennon also said life is what you do when you're busy making other plans.
Yeah.
You know, you're living every little moment that we have, be it small, maybe it's a poo, maybe you're making a cup of tea.
Yeah, but he also said, I am the walrus.
He did. Fair play. Okay, he didn't know what he was talking about. He was on drugs at the time.
Fair point.
He was having a moment, right?
Yeah.
But, okay, Dalai Lama nails it. But there's no need to be afraid. But while we are living and we have fears, like genuine fears, like fear of flying, fear of water, that can be really sad, I think, because that means you're living a life of fear and not living your life full to the
Lenny
full.
Kravitz's track, you see, we could have gone. If we were allowed to play music, we could have played "Living in Fear" straight away, right now. What a tune!
Right, yeah, we're not doing that, so it's obviously a shit podcast. But
Yeah.
you could sing it.
We're very low on budget for royalty paying. But
Clearly,
we don't understand how to do it yet.
We'll get there.
Flying with me. I have a fear of flying.
Come fly with me, come fly, let's fly away.
That's our music for the day.
Yeah.
So I used to fly all the time with work, and then I flew once with a friend of mine, Jason, on the way back from Cannes.
That's a solid name.
Jason.
You want to fly with a Jason?
Jason, yes. And we'd been up all night at a party, and I'd drunk too much, and I'm not a big drinker.
So you had just the one then?
Yeah, and I sniffed a Peroni.
Okay.
And then the plane dropped 400 foot. It felt like it had dropped 10,000 feet, but it was only 400 foot. But somebody did fall out of a seat, and there was somebody cut their head. And
oh, no.
And I had an instant, almost like it was like a panic attack, that I sort of walked off, went into the toilet, looked at myself, going, we're not going to die, you're not going to crash. Sorted myself out, grounded myself, came back to the seat. But you record that.
Yeah.
How
that made you feel in that moment,
that
and that's
moment.
Your brain does
shock.
Funny things to you. It brings that back. It's association, isn't it?
Yeah.
And every time you've flown from that point, you've brought yourself back to it. Will I feel like that again? Will I feel like that again?
Every time. And there was a poor Asian guy sitting next to me. He was more scared of flying than I was, and he was beading with sweat. And I just thought, if he goes for the cockpit, I'm going to punch him in the throat, which is a really bad thing to think.
Right. What do you mean, if he goes for the cockpit?
Because he was sitting there sweating, and I didn't know it was fear of flying for him. I thought maybe he had plans to do something.
I see.
Because of
all of what was going on at the time. That can't have helped as well. I mean,
that didn't help.
People that were afraid of flying would have been like, forget about it. No way, I'm never going in a plane again. Can't have helped.
Yeah, but so there's that shock aspect that every time I get in a plane now, which is okay. I know it's a safe way of travelling.
You will do it though. You'll fly.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have little routines though to conquer your fear? Do you have to do something, a process of, a routine to get yourself through it, or do you just sit there and sweat?
I just try and go into a different state of mind, which it works sometimes. It comes in, out, and it is. But when you're in a plane,
meditate.
Yeah, when you're in a plane and you just can't help but I think, right, I'll try and sleep for 10 minutes now. Just drop off. And then I think, hold on.
I can never sleep
I will sleep, but there is nothing under my feet but 30,000 feet of air.
Yeah.
So that freaks me a bit. Yeah. And then it's like you're hurtling along at 500 miles an hour in a pressurised steel tube powered by fossil fuel.
Which has been built for that purpose.
Which has been built for that purpose, but it's just so
But-
unnatural. How big is
It's
this
not
thing
though.
I'm
We
in?
harnessed it. It's not unnatural anymore. So it's like, you know, they do, the statistics do say that we're safer in planes than we are in cars.
Fair point.
Yeah, I mean, you could walk out of here and into the road. Not that you would, you don't stand in the
No.
road, but I mean, you could get.
But
right
I
in.
think if there's an issue in the air,
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
If you smack someone up the backside at 30
You're-
mile an hour,
that's it.
You're like, oh, I've scuffed my right shoe.
So do you think when the time's up though?
Yeah,
Maybe it's your moment.
maybe you're right.
This is
Yeah,
my
maybe I'm
moment.
believing in destiny a lot more now. So
Yeah.
yes, if you're supposed to go, you're supposed to go.
I mean, my fear is a small one. I don't have loads of fears, to be honest. I have plenty of hopes, but not that many fears. And I'm scared of spiders, ridiculously. But because my son is worse than me, I'll deal with it. I will have to.
Yeah.
I won't look that spider in the eye. I will get something in my hand. And I'll reach out and I'll grab. I can't see it while I'm doing that, while I'm dealing with spider. And it depends on the size of the spider.
You don't kill them.
I try and throw them out the bathroom window. And they're like,
Yeah.
out into the road.
Yeah.
But at least they've got a chance, right? They've got a
Yeah.
fighting chance
They can't
of
bite
life.
you.
No, they can't. But
Common spiders, British spiders, can't bite you. But I understand what you're saying.
actually, I heard that those stupid ones, those idiots that go up the wall, crane flies, daddy long legs,
Daddy long legs.
they can apparently.
Well, I actually heard, and
Hmm.
again, because we're not looking up stuff, we're just going from what we think
No,
we know, is that
Which isn't a lot.
daddy longlegs hold the most poison in the insect family, but they don't have strong enough pincers to pierce and deliver it into your system.
No, but they come off. If it was a spider and a daddy long legs in a fight, and I've watched this on YouTube, the daddy long legs will come off better.
Nice browsing history.
Yeah, they win every time.
Really?
But look at a daddy long legs up a wall. You think, what an idiot.
Yeah, it's all legs.
What are you
it's all-
doing,
yeah.
mate? You're just flailing around, going nowhere.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel sometimes.
They have no aerodynamics.
They don't. They're really, really clumsy and everything. But apart from that, I have a bit of vertigo now. Only now because I'm older. I used to be really like, way, get on the roller coasters,
Yeah.
on the eggs at the Woking
Yeah.
Whirl or whatever it was
Yeah.
called. I used to love all that. The waltzers was amazing. Like, turn it faster, mate, and all that. But now, ever since I went to Blackpool one time, and I went on the big one, and it climbs and it climbs and it climbs. And right at the top, it stopped. And at that point, I looked across just casually, and to my right, my eyes were level with the top of the Blackpool Tower. And I just felt a
Freak.
cold
Yeah.
wave all down through my body to my feet, and my feet started tingling. That was it.
And that stayed with
That
you.
was it. Stayed with me. And ever since then, I had that feeling of fragility. At this very moment, there's nothing between me and death right now except a little carriage. I'm sitting in It's nothing. How ridiculous am I? What am I doing up here? Get me out.
It's like it's a recording shock in your system. I had
Yeah.
the same in jet skiing, falling off a
Yeah.
jet ski, and then suddenly I'm level
Yeah.
with a ferry that's still probably 2 miles away, but I'm level with that ferry
Oh my God.
in the water, and it's like that's
that
so
could
big.
carve me up.
I'm so small,
Yeah.
and then I'm in this really deep water that I'm
you're
worried
vulnerable.
about sharks that we don't have on the south coast that are going to bite me. But I panicked.
Yeah,
I do. You do, don't you?
Well, yeah, you do. You feel vulnerable, don't you?
Yeah,
That's
just
because
think
we're
someone's going to bite
older.
my legs. But
You know.
I think that's what it is. It's self-preservation now. I wouldn't
Yeah.
go on a roller coaster now.
No, I won't either. You won't catch me on there.
No.
Forget about it. I mean, there was, to be fair, a little local fair in the summer and up the road, and they had these tiny little rides. I sat in one of those.
Oh, right.
But that's
Yeah.
about
Oh, well done, you.
No, I felt really good. I did want to get off. I felt sick though.
Just what, round and round?
just
Were
went-
you
it
sitting
was
in
really
like an
slow.
old car or an old bike?
It was a little tiny waltzer, but it was really fast.
Do you remember the dive bomber at Woking Fair?
I do. Now that got taken away. They didn't allow that after a few years.
But you had to hold on and hold in.
You were heading for the ground.
You were heading for the ground.
Yeah. And I remember the worst one was this carpet rolling thing.
I remember that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I got so many carpet burns.
Yeah. And that was before you went on.
That's before I even started getting
Yeah, I
carpet
remember
burns.
that. I remember, not your carpet burns. I remember that ride. That was horrific. They don't have those anymore, do they?
No. I mean, you just couldn't. You couldn't get away with it.
No.
But I don't think I'm afraid of much except getting old and that in itself makes you more afraid. So, I mean, there are people have ridiculous like fears that are, I mean, have special Latin names and stuff, right?
Yes, I remember somebody who had a fear of spiders like yourself.
And
but
there's a name for that. Well, that's arachnophobia. It's easy.
They couldn't even look at spiders. They would wrap books up in the house with paper so they couldn't see the spiders.
You're kidding.
No.
Little tip for you, by the way. Conkers. Right?
Yeah.
Conkers. Spiders hate conkers.
Right.
If you there's a bunch of them out there right now. Get a load of them. Get a wheelbarrow. Fill them up with conkers.
Yeah.
Anyone that doesn't like conkers in the house, you can put them around the house in the corners and on the windowsills and stuff. But there's something about the taste or the smell of conkers that spiders really hate.
Spiders do get rid of mosquitoes though.
But we don't have a mozzie problem in the autumn.
Well, fair point. Fair point. But
it's timing problem, isn't it? It's all about timing issues.
Yeah.
Timing isn't one of the spider's strong points, clearly.
No.
Shows up at the wrong time.
And there are those other ones now that are here that can bite you, that are poisonous, that are coming over from Europe or wherever.
Oh, well, they can go away. Maybe with Brexit, that might stop them.
Clearly. They just
they'll
won't
need
be
a
able
visa.
to afford it. Yeah, they just won't be able to afford it.
Special spider visa. Hello, I've come to apply for a visa. Pink.
Yes. Well, we're lucky here. We don't have anything that can... We have adders, but I've never seen one.
Black adder up there.
Yeah.
I've had an adder out the back of my garden, in my garden, on the mat. I opened the door one time.
Was that an adder or a grass snake?
Well, it was in dispute for quite a while. People were saying, that's an adder. And someone said, that's a grass snake. Because I put it on Facebook.
Was it big?
No, it was tiny, teeny tiny, with a little white collar. It was quite a nice collar. It was furry and had a little bell on it.
Yeah.
Really. No.
Did you ring up the number on the bottom of it? Did you return it to its owner?
No.
Yeah, no, we don't.
I don't know what happened to him. I think a cat probably got him. I moved him out of the way, but it's cat central around here. So it wouldn't have stood a chance. Wouldn't have stood a chance.
Yeah, that's...
It's mean streets out there. Have you seen it? Have you held a snake? Do you have fears of...
I have a bit of a fear of a snake.
There you
snakes.
go. That's a classic though, isn't it?
Yeah. I had a friend, Richard, who had one, and he used to feed them once a month
Mice.
with frozen rat pups.
Ew!
So you buy them, and
oh my God.
You buy them, and then you'd go around his house, and he'd have 2 or 3 thawing on the radiator.
Nice.
And then you put them in some forceps, and then you open the tank really discreetly, and then you have to mimic
the moving,
and then they go for it. And I did it once, and it just, no way.
Yeah, it freaked you out.
No way.
Freaked you out. Is there a distinctive smell to a dead rat pup that's thawing out on a radiator?
I can't remember.
And the smell of death must have been pervasive in his bedroom.
But they breed them to just, and then knock them on the head to kill them, and then they're snake food. That's
not natural, is it?
It's
not right. I mean,
and keeping a snake,
I
don't think it's right anyway.
No,
because they're in a tank. They're not going to go exploring, are they?
That's no life, is it?
No.
I don't agree with all that. But each to their own. And I knew someone that I actually went for a date with someone who's very, very nice person, and we're friends. But he keeps geckos.
Right.
He's got a spare room in his house, and he keeps them, and he shows them, takes them around, and they're really cute and pretty. But it's an interesting one. What would get you onto that tip? Geckos. That's it. That's my thing.
With a cat, independent, to go where they want. They probably have a zone for miles if they wanted to. Fine. Dogs, you take them out every day as long as you do. You give them good exercise, but
they give you something back, dogs.
Caged and tanked animals, I just personally don't agree with.
I don't know what the appeal is, but they are beautiful. Some people just appreciate what they look like.
I understand that. As you said, each to their own.
To their own. That's very diplomatic of us. Really, we're like, what the fuck? Yeah. So we've established that we're not really frightened of anything, that we're really hard. We're really fucking hard, and nothing scares us except flying, death, and spiders.
Yeah, and snakes.
We're all good otherwise, yeah? That's good.
At the moment, until I remember other things. Lifts, I don't like lifts.
You don't like going to the loo much, do you, as well?
No. Lifts panic me a bit.
Toilets, lifts.
Yeah. Hairy women.
Right. Yeah, I understand that. That's another thing that's going to cause you a lot of problems as we get older, because of menopause. There'll be a lot of hairy women around.
Fair point.
So you'll be like, oh, everywhere you go.
Yeah.
I can't go anywhere for hairy women.
Look and stare, and I can't help but stare.
At
and
the
you
hairy
want
women?
To say, yeah.
What? Oh, right. What if they've got hairy face?
Yeah, really hairy, like fine hair.
You're not just staring at hairy legs in the street.
No. But just the hair, like
bearded
you said.
lady of Guildford, for example.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Don't be afraid of her. I don't think she's alive anymore, actually. But if you are out there, bearded lady, then get in touch.
I haven't seen it for the last year.
I know.
So,
I don't know.
Is that what you're thinking?
But
I'm not.
But I'm renowned for.
But I'm not trusting you.
I know. I
You
always
thought
kill
Dickie
people
Davis
off.
was dead.
I know. He's still around.
Poor bloke, still enjoying his retirement.
Poor Dickie.
Hurry up, Dickie.
We will talk again soon on another podcast. I think the next one we're going to do is loads of stupid sayings for things that we've got and we've heard and that we've carried forward. And we'll talk about those and the names that we've got for our private parts and stuff. We'll do that one next.
Yes.
But in the meantime, thanks for joining us. And you can find out more about us on social media and our website and stuff like that. But we'll see you really soon.
Thank you.
Bye.